they've got important work to do. Tonight, there's a conference opener to be played. Welcome to historic Williams Arena, where there's excitement building. It's BTN basketball coming your way, presented by Quicken Loans. Tonight, the conference lid lifter for two schools with big dreams. The Michigan Wolverines in town, taking on Richard Pitino's Minnesota Golden Gophers. Alongside Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. We're moments away from tipping it off. Before we do, here's our Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineups. First, the visitors from Ann Arbor. Derek Walton Jr., he's the lone freshman starting. Stauskas, Levert, Robinson, and Jordan Morgan once again in the pivot.
And for the Gophers, two familiar faces, Andre Hollins and Austin Hollins in the backcourt. Also, DeAndre Matthew, his first Big Ten game. Otto Olshanich and also Elliott Eliason inside, shoring up the middle for the Gophers.
Now the conference opener for both sides, and Jim, some big picture things about what we should be looking at over the next 40 minutes of game time.
For Michigan, how does Derek Walton handle the pressure a little bit, and can he recognize the difference between man-to-man pressure and zone pressure? And for Minnesota, trying to get up and down the court to kind of really push the tempo, will be smart offensively, defensively shift it up a little bit to kind of keep Michigan off balance.
Now, those are your storylines you just saw bottom of your screen. Hard to believe, but Michigan, not only have they won the last 4 in this series between these two schools, they've won the last 4 in this building against the Gophers. Normally, the Barn, very difficult place for visitors to win. Opening tap won by Minnesota. With that 3-guard lineup, they work it around the perimeter. Here's Andre Hollins setting up shop against Stauskas. DeAndre Matthew gets inside, has the ball stripped away. I think that was Walton, got a hand on it. Stauskas straight to the rim, and he's fouled. Yeah, good start defensively for Michigan. They get a rip away and free throws for one of the best free throw shooters in the country.
Well, prime example, too. When you dribble, drive, and you weave, you don't have good transition defense. That time, Derek Walton, excellent hands to get the strip out in transition to a streaking Nick Stauskas. So, for Minnesota, you don't want this Michigan team to get started early. So if a turnover occurs, we talk about it all the time. What's important? Court balance defensively.
Stauskas, the sophomore from Mississauga, Ontario, hits the first free throw. He has now made 22 of his last 23 at the line. Refuses to hit the rim on either one of those free throws. Okay, here comes DeAndre Matthew, just 5'9", out of Knoxville, Tennessee, playing his first Big Ten Conference game. Andre Hollins, the miss, almost tapped in miraculously by Austin Hollins, finally cleared by Morgan.
And you'll see a difference for those accustomed to seeing Andre Hollins on the ball, on the point. Now he's back at the 2-guard position, kind of where he played in high school.
Open look on the wing. Austin Hollins is short. Again, one and done for the Gophers. Stauskas in transition. Rebounded by Olshanich.
Both teams love to get up and down. They love to shoot the 3-ball. High percentage shots in transition are normally good. You get good offensive rebounding position.
I think everyone's waiting to see if Minnesota makes a shot, what the defense will look like for the Gophers. Will they continue to have that pressure in the backcourt that they did in non-conference play? Richard Pitino, a huge believer in forcing a team to use the entire court on offense.
And here's the thing about the pressure. What Minnesota wants to do is disguise it. Okay? In particular, you have to score to get your defense in. So what Minnesota wants to do is make it seem like it's a pressure situation where they're going to double team, but it's really man-to-man. So the guards from Michigan have to do a really good job of deciphering whether it's man-to-man or it really is a full-court press with the double team.
Eliason working against John Horford, who's just checked into the game. And a tap up and in by Olshanich. That's the first bucket for the Gophers, and here comes the pressure. Minnesota leading the Big Ten in steals per game, close to 9 per contest.
But not only steals, but it's the active hands deflecting passes as we see right there
by Matthew. And that's last touched by Michigan off the foot of Walton.
Yeah, and that time, Hollins, again, defensively, you're active with your hands. And Coach Pitino talked about that at practice this morning. But the pass right there, it's better that Hollins continues his dribble and attack. Forced the defensive man to make a decision. That time kind of gave it up too early. Not a really good passing angle to complete the play.
Andre Hollins goes baseline. Over to Austin Hollins. Now Matthew up high. Matthew inside. This kid can really leap. Gets up there, finishes. And the Gophers on top for the first time.
Excellent job of turning the corner. That time allowing the pick to take place, putting his head and shoulder down. And then you saw the explosive ability to finish at the rim over a taller opponent.
Oh, wow, what an alley-oop! Robinson finishes over his head.
At shoot-around, he worked on that backdoor play. And it's funny because Minnesota looking to take it away. So it worked for Michigan. Not good backline defense by Minnesota. And for Minnesota right here, Matthew able to get to the rim but then finish over a much more bigger and athletic Robinson. But on the backside here, two things, and I always say this. The play is allowed to be completed because, one, not enough pressure on the passer, and on the backside, probably watching the ball too much instead of your man.
Again, backdoor cut. This time, Levert misses inside. Andre Hollins able to save it along the baseline. Hollins travel. Now, Jim, this is a different makeup on this year's Minnesota team. Richard Pitino's club, defensively, they really make their mark on the perimeter. In years past, we've seen erasers back there. Mbakwe, Ralph Sampson, even Rodney Williams. Guys who are blocking shots at the rim. This year, the thrust of their defense is up high, getting steals and playing the lanes.
Well, it makes a lot of sense because when you have that kind of backcourt pressure, as you see another deflection, how can an offense ever get comfortable and get into their offensive sets?
Oh! Andre Hollins has it swatted away by Robinson.
And to further that as well, this is a team that's a little bit more perimeter-oriented. They're not getting the kind of post play they got in the past either from a scoring perspective.
We'll talk about a veteran head coach. John Beilein has been there and won that. This is a guy in his 7th year at Michigan, but his 4th stop as a Division I head coach. Oceanics. Rebounded Eliason. Another chance. Oceanics this time picks up the dribble. Eliason takes his time, scores the goal, and he's fouled. Horford whacked him. And Barnyard enjoying that one. Why not? Gophers off to a nice start here in their conference opener against Michigan. Welcome back, everyone, to the Barn, Williams Arena, oldest venue around the conference. Minnesota on top of Michigan, 64 early. Alongside my partner, Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. Start talking about Michigan. It's a team that went to the championship game of the tournament a year ago. Big hopes coming into this year, but now trying to adjust to life without Mitch McGary.
It's interesting how you have a game plan on what your roster is going to look like, and then an injury takes place. And in particular, in Mitch McGary's case, he brings so much to the table, okay, from one of the best running big men in the country, rebounding. Now, those numbers may not stand out to you, but you saw the impact he had when he really got into a rhythm and groove in the championship game and throughout the Final Four. So you lose a guy that's a threat to shoot the basketball at the free throw line, to make plays. Defensively, you have a big body. He runs the court. You can't replace him with one person, but I do believe this Michigan team with Horford inside and Morgan are going to try by committee to replace not just the numbers, but I think his energy and effort as well.
Michigan playing with Horford as the center. And Morgan out of the game. Spice Ulbricht's now into the game, and another turnover.
Another turnover against the 2-3 zone that time by Minnesota.
Oceanics, the trailer. Misses with the left hand, but Eliason taps it in. 4 points for the junior.
And those are the kind of paint points that are going to come from Oceanics and also Eliason. Maybe not straight post-ups all the time, even though Eliason had the nice finish underneath with a foul. But those second play effort plays are what you're going to expect from the post players from Minnesota.
Horford with bodies flying hits the deck. He'll go to the free throw line. Tonight's Allstate Insurance Mayhem Index. Let's take a look at the style of play that Minnesota has going so far this year. They want to get that ball on the perimeter, get hands on the ball, start the offense with a fast break, and they've been doing it. They lead the conference steals per game, close to 9 per ball game. Turnover margin, very respectable. And that's just the style that Richard Pitino believes in and thinks will work in this conference.
Well, it will, and it's a misnomer to think that because he presses that you can't do it in this league, but it's a strategic press. Again, it's masked to look like a lot of pressure is going to come, a double team is going to come, but it's not. A lot of times it's just straight up man-to-man. You turn your guy, two things happen. You wear down your opponent, but also you take a little time off the shot clock. Now a team gets in their half-court set a little later than they planned to.
Gophers still playing with their starting 5 on the floor. 5 minutes into this one. Oceanic looks much more assertive than in years past. Misses the jump hook. Spike Albrecht cruises over the timeline. Backdoor cut Levert. Rejected by Eliason. And another steal. Look at these Gophers. Go! Oh, Matthew rejected by Robinson.
I think Matthew got a little confused by the last basket he had. Thought he could finish over the top of Glenn Robinson III. He wasn't having it.
How about that? That's how you do it. Austin Hollins with 2 hands.
The difference I see right now, Eric, with this Minnesota team offensively, a lot more movement. Last year, they get stuck on one side of the court sometimes. Now you see the ball actually being moved, bodies being moved, defense getting moved, and now you open up yourself to opportunities.
Stauskit's been quiet for a while, gets it inside, and gets an assist. Turnaround shot up and in by Horford. He's got 3. 10-7. 6.5 minutes into this one. First of 2 meetings on the year between Michigan and Minnesota. Andre Hollins, his first field goal.
And what a luxury it is to have if you're Matthew. You have the Hollins brothers, so to speak, on the perimeter. Okay, so now when you dribble, drive, penetrate, you have threats not only off the dribble, but that can shoot the 3.
They don't correct each other anymore. They've been playing together for 3 years. They're as close as brothers. So when people say, are we related? They say, why not?
Well, first of all, Eliason straight up and down. Prevents the play now. Again, deflection. It allows you to get out and run. Now, they may not have scored the basket in transition, but look at the activity. How they're able to turn Michigan over and get out and run. That's is the strength, and probably, when you look at this Minnesota team, that's going to be the calling card. That's how they're going to be able to compete and win basketball games.
Gophers go to the bench. They leave the 2 Hollinses in, and they bring in Mo Walker, Joey King, and Malik Smith.
Number 15 looks a little bit different if you haven't seen him play yet this year, because he's shed a little LBs over the offseason.
Jumper missed by Robinson. Zach Irvin into the game, able to save it over to Albrecht. Levert is open for a moment, fired up a quick shot. And we've got a carrying of the basketball. Unforced error on Andre Hollins.
If you're Michigan right now, Coach Blueline, I'm sure, is talking to his team about slow down. The pressure is making Michigan speed up a little bit more, so they're not executing their offense the way they should. You can control that, slow it down. Again, 4, 5, 6, 7 passes. Make sure you move the defense. Now you can get a better shot. See?
Joey King got his hands on the basketball and was immediately tied up. Possession arrow keeps it with Michigan.
Yeah, in the backdoor cut. Glenn Robinson III wanted it at the rim, because now that pass is a little bit longer because of the distance between Morgan and Robinson. The travel time was a little longer, so you're able to recover. It was in the air. A high-flying Glenn Robinson III could have gotten it.
Matthew back on the floor, replacing Andre Hollins. Albrecht wants a screen. Shot clock down to 3. Irvin has to hoist. And a save. Gophers have the ball. That was Malik Smith diving behind the basket to keep it in play. And big Mal Walker, his first deuce.
Jordan Morgan got caught gambling that time, trying to go for the steal. Allowed Reese inside to get in position. Excellent pass also from the wing from Hollins.
LeVert gets inside and scores. Sophomore from Columbus, Ohio, hangs and dips in his first field goal.
And LeVert was able to finish that, Eric, because he put on a little weight. He put on more strength in his upper body. Last year, he may have been knocked off balance on that particular shot and not able to finish, but not this year.
Here's King, the transfer from Drake. Now Hollins to Smith. Shot clock down to 7. Curl pass inside, and Walker can't handle it. Robinson. Now they just let him go by. That was probably wise. Austin Hollins didn't want to get caught up with Glenn Robinson, who's now got 4. Offense is slowed down a bit with this group of 5 on the floor for Minnesota. And a travel called on DeAndre Matthew. Timeout on the floor. Michigan Wolverines trying to get back into this one. They go to their sophomore stud, Glenn Robinson, to bring them within 4. Alongside Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. And it's a 3-dog night here in Minneapolis. 1 dog won't keep you warm. 2 dogs won't keep you warm. You need 3 dogs tonight. I've been here for 24 hours, and
it's freezing.
We haven't seen temperatures above 0. But it's toasty here at the oldest venue in the Big Ten, historic Williams Arena. Students obviously still on break, but a nice crowd for the conference opener between the Gophers and the Wolverines. Nick Stauskas back into the game for Michigan. Stauskas, Albrecht, Robinson, Horford, and Irvin. Gophers have already forced 4 steals, 3 of them coming from Austin Hollins. Long jumper. Albrecht misses wide right. And Horford come down with a tough rebound.
Now keep in mind, Minnesota wants Michigan to shoot those type of shots. You have to get the ball against the zone, in the soft spot of the zone, then exploit from there, which is where Nick Stauskas is at right now, at the free throw line.
Irvin, a contested 3, had Andre Hollins' hand right in his face.
And it's right on time. Where did the ball go, Eric? Right in the middle of the zone. You collapse it. 1-2 passes out of there. Now you got a higher percentage shot, able to be knocked down that time by Irvin.
Gophers' 8-point lead has been cut to just 1. Walker working against Horford, takes his time, loses the handle. Good fighting there for Walker, but doesn't get the result he wants. That's Michigan ball.
And watch the ball moving right here. You get the ball into the center of the lane. Now the defense collapse. You swing it to the opposite side. Bam, splash, a 3-pointer. But you have to be patient against the zone. But if you do get the ball either at the low post or short corner, elbow, now the defense has to react. That's when you can exploit it with the 2-on-1 on the weak side.
Robinson's been playing real well as of late. Stauskas, extra pass to Robinson. Robinson gets it back and is fouled. That'll be a block called on Joey King. So Glenn Robinson will shoot 2 free throws.
Before you can get out and run, you have to rebound. Excellent rebound, but then find by Horford into Glenn Robinson, the third on the back door, and it doesn't look like King was set.
Jim, I want to ask you a question. We were talking to Coach John Beilein at shoot-around today, and he was talking about Glenn Robinson, who's playing really good basketball in the last 4 games. We said, what's the difference? And Coach Beilein said, we don't want to just have him play and run the system. We want him to play ball within the system. What did he mean by that?
Not thinking about it. Not try to run the play the exact way. Use your instincts. And it's tough for a player like Glenn Robinson III because he's so unselfish. He's what Coach Beilein calls as a flow player. If they try to isolate him and give him plays, he overthinks it. But when he catches and he's playing in the rhythm and the flow of the game, he's much more effective and he shoots a higher percentage. So that's what he's talking about when he's mentioning him in that term.
Shot missed by Austin Hollins, back on the floor. Now the Wolverines looking to run. Been a while since Minnesota last scored. Over 4 minutes now. Michigan with the lead in the ball. Stauskas looking for something. That was all Nick Stauskas. Just powered his way in, found a seam, and puts it off the window.
But think about this. Where did the help come from? Once he dribbled, and got into the lane, not attempt to double team, but even a jab at him to make him think you were coming to pick up the ball, that time the size advantage was just too much.
Matthews scores the goal, and he's fouled. Smallest man on the floor, showing you what he can do when he gets inside. Chance to complete the three-point play when we come back to Williams Arena. They'll take on the winner of RPI and second-ranked Ferris State. That's Saturday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings on BTN and BTN to go. So there's a chance it could be the top 2 teams in the country squaring off the Gophers and the Bulldogs of Ferris State. The top 5 currently. St. Cloud State participant in the Frozen Four a year ago. You're a big hockey guy.
I'm a big hockey guy from this perspective. I can boot skate. I'm a heck of a boot skater.
Now hold on, you do go to a lot of Columbus Blue Jackets game.
I've gotten into it because the owner of Blue Jackets is a good friend of mine. I'm still trying to learn the verbiage and exactly what the strategies behind it, but you got to give it to those guys. I mean, athletic, crazy as all get out, but it's a thing of beauty when you're watching the game live. Better in person than it is on TV, definitely.
DeAndre Matthew completes the three-point play to tie the game up at 18. This is a small lineup right now for Michigan. Freshman Walton, elbow jumper. Eliason, the rebound. Malik Smith. Smith likes to fire it up there. He made 96 three-pointers a year ago when he played the Sun Belt Conference for Florida International. Someone forgot to cover Horford.
And the backline defense, that time 2 guys converged on Stauskas. Yeah, the threat of being the shooter, that's what can open up. Now that's when you rely on your backside of your defense and not be so concerned with their man, but rotate over. That time, it didn't happen for the Gophers.
Smith gets a screen from Austin Hollins. Hollins can't finish. Eliason the rebound. From the other side, Malik Smith hits the jumper. That's his 27th three-pointer of the season.
And now the key is, Eric, when you score a basket, if you're Minnesota, it allows you to get your defense set. Okay, and that's the key to the pressure defense here, in particular with Derek Walton, a young player that they want to kind of wear down a little bit with constant pressure.
Irvin, his second three-pointer made. We've had 4 lead changes early in this one. Haven't even played 15 minutes yet.
Well, both teams are very similar. They want to get out and run. And there are a lot of pick and roll situations in their half where they're going to shoot a lot of three-point shots. Excellent shooters from the free throw line.
Richard Pitino just raving about the way Austin Hollins has played so far through the first 13 games. Getting inside, Andre Hollins draws the foul. That's so important. Richard Pitino, a young head coach, coming into a new program and immediately getting buy-in from his two best players and his two most veteran players, Andre Hollins and Austin Hollins.
Did you notice at the shoot-around today, it seemed as though Pitino had years and years of coaching experience. He was very mature in the way he went about organizing and running the shoot-around. It's not like this is his first rodeo, but it is in that aspect. But his demeanor, his calmness, his preparation, that feeds to his team, and that's why they've been able to respond the way they have, because they have total confidence that coach is going to put them in a situation that can be successful.
Andre Hollins the miss, but Austin Hollins the rebound. Left alone. Misses the long three. Robinson wasn't stopped, cut all the way to the rim, finally blocked away by Eliason. Oceanics. Max Bielfeldt into the game, trying to guard Eliason. And we've got a foul on Albrecht, diving in, trying to poke the ball away. Coming up in the half, it's the State Farm halftime show. We got Mike Hall, Stephen Bardo, and Sean Morris standing by back in the studio in Chicago.
You know what's also interesting with Coach Pitino talking to Andre Hollins was that he said, listen, we're all going to be held accountable on the defensive end. But offensively, he's not as concerned about, did you see a drive right there by Matthew, getting his shoulder down, exploded to the rim. On the offensive end, he wants you to play. But he expects you to pay attention to detail, do all the little things you have to do on the defensive end of the court.
Andre Matthew now with 7 points. Andre Hollins rushing the ball up the floor. This is the starting 5 on the floor for the Gophers. Oceanics fouled as he went baseline. Oceanics will shoot a couple of free throws when we come back to Minneapolis. DeAndre Matthew showing you what he's all about. The junior transfer. So fun to watch. 10 days from now, January 12th, it's the much-anticipated premiere of BTN's original, The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2014. Take a closer look at the preeminent basketball conference in the country and the people who live it. It premieres January 12th on BTN. Now, what a revelation DeAndre Matthew has been in this his first go-around for Minnesota. He's your Ally Bank key ally, leading the team with close to 5 assists per game. This is a guy who came out of high school in Knoxville, Tennessee, spent 1 year in the Ohio Valley Conference playing at Moorhead State. Last year played in a junior conference, and now getting an opportunity to run the offense for the Gophers.
But you know what he has?
Quickness, athletic ability?
No, more important, it's called experience. So now when, along with King, it allows Coach Pitino to be comfortable with a substitution pattern of guys that have played before, maybe not in the Big Ten, but they do have experience. So that's why you see when guys can transfer in and you have something more than just athletic ability, you have experience, and that's something I think will bode well for this Minnesota team.
Stauskas gets inside, can't finish with the left hand. Rebound by Oceanics. Andre Hollins flying down the floor and scores. Lead back up to 3 for the Gophers. Their largest lead has been 8.
Very subtle. The pass up ahead by Hollins to Hollins, now allowed the break to happen. 1 or 2 more dribbles, that negates that opportunity.
Under 3 minutes to play first half. Michigan has won 4 straight here at Williams Arena. And we've got a travel.
The advance pass, coaches. 1 dribble, now you're up. Now you have a 2-on-1 advantage. You put Walt in a tough situation. Like I talked about, if Austin Holland takes 2 more dribbles, now that fast break doesn't occur the way you see it there. So coaches always talk about get the advance pass up. You can't dribble, get it up, and let somebody else make a play.
We have 2 minutes and 45 seconds of game time before the State Farm halftime report. Crowded out. Mike Paul, Stephen Bardo, Sean Morris standing by. Conference season just getting started this week. I want to ask you, Jim Jackson, for Richard Pitino, him trying to implement his style of play, it's going to be easier for him to get across his defensive principles or the offense and the style that he wants to play.
I would say both are hand in hand because, again, the belief is in the coach that he's going to put them in a situation to win. And these guys want to win. So defensively, they're going to buy in, knowing that they get steals, they can get out and run. And offensively, he's not going to limit them to what they have to do. You have a shot, you take it.
Now, Richard Pitino, of course, his dad, Rick Pitino, closely connected with John Beilein because they are neck and neck, 7th and 8th in terms of all-time wins as college coaches. That was our Inside the Numbers with MFS. John Beilein with 6 more wins than Rick Pitino. A lot of people would be surprised at that. But of course, John Beilein under the radar for a lot of years. Head coach at places like Canisius, Erie Community College, Nazareth, the Division III level. Before getting a chance at Richmond and West Virginia, and now, of course, Michigan.
Right, and I'm sure Coach Beilein will give up a few of those wins for a couple of those big trophies at the end of the year. You know?
John Beilein has always been a head coach. He's never been an assistant for anyone else. Got to start very young as a head coach, and he's never really turned back. Last year, of course, losing in the championship game against Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals. Now, when he's preparing for this Minnesota team, coached by Rick Pitino's son, do you notice similar principles between what the Cardinals run and what we're seeing out of Minnesota?
You know, what was interesting that Coach Pitino said defensively we do some things like Louisville, but offensively more like Florida, which was an interesting point to make because you kind of think that Richard Pitino would emulate the things that his father did, but it's more so what Billy Donovan liked to run in Florida.
Richard Pitino, assistant for a while in Florida. After the poke away, ball stays with Michigan. They're dealing with a 7-0 run by the Gophers. They've fallen down by 5. Stauskas not open on the backdoor cut. Horford faces up, now working against Eliason. Pretty move.
And I was just going to say that with both of these teams, if they can find one solid player that when they need a tough basket like that, they can give it to you. It doesn't have to be multiple times, but throughout the course of the game, the jump shot is not going to be available to you. So you have to figure out ways to be creative to get points in the paint. And right there, Horford was patient on the move, and he allowed his soft touch to come into play to knock it in.
Oceanic with the miss, but another offensive rebound. Eliason. Andre Hollins can't cash in. For Eliason, he continues to be a force on that offensive glass. He's got 4 offensive rebounds. But look at Nick Stauskas.
But that's the value of Derek Walton. Now he's starting to see the game a little bit more. That time, patient off the dribble, in the break, allowed the offense to kind of open up, and now you knock down a 3-point shot. And that's what they expect from Derek Walton. The pass, first point guard. Look, the patience, and now you find the open man. For this offense in Beilein's system, it's critical that the point guard is able to make those type of decisions.
Now Michigan trying to mount a comeback. They've tied this one at 28. They've had to overcome an abundance of steals by this Gophers defense. They're just getting tremendous amounts of hands in the passing lane.
Well, they've accepted the challenge of becoming a better defensive team because they know the outcome will be to be able to get out in transition as we see right here. But you have to commit yourself. And Eric, you played the game. Playing defense at this rate, pressuring is not easy. But when it's done right and you see the results of it, now you buy in and you become a bigger fan of it because you know the results that it can produce for you. And you see that right now in the first half, 28-28. How many times has Minnesota been able to disrupt Michigan's offense.
6 ties, 5 lead changes in the first 19 minutes. Andre Hollins comes off the screen. Oh, looked like he may have been bumped on the head. Still able to swoop in and drop in the finger roll. 9 first-half points for the junior from Memphis. Walton able to use the dribble to get inside. Can't spin in the layup. Trying to get it back. It will be Minnesota ball.
Baskets in the paint. That time, Hollins able to use his body, his dribble, unimpeded, avoided the block inside. Tough. Those are the tough baskets. That's the points in the paint that you look for. Now for Minnesota, you're up 2 points. You want to go into halftime either with that 2-point lead or you want to increase it. You don't want to give it back. So look for them to attack around the 8-second mark, which allowed them to get a good shot, but also the opportunity to get an offensive rebound if they miss. Michigan doesn't have an opportunity. DeAndre
Matthew up high, guarded by Walton. Gets a screen. Matthew inside, blocked by Robinson. Got it back, and that's going to do it for our first half of play. 20 solid minutes of action here at Williams Arena. And a 2-point lead for the locals. Minnesota on top 30-28. Now let's go to the State Farm halftime show. Let's send you to Chicago. It is a 2-point lead for Minnesota over Michigan. Both squads playing their first Big Ten game of the season. With my partner Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. This is a fun team to watch. This Minnesota team, they run, they're passionate, and they got some skilled athletes.
Well, they do. And you look at the shooting percentage for Minnesota in the first half, only 38.7%, 20 behind the three-point line. But they've been able to get out in transition, get some easy baskets, outscore Michigan in the paint coming early on. So they have allowed themselves, even though they're not shooting particularly well from the field, by disrupting Michigan somewhat in their half-court set, it's allowed them to not only to play effective, but also take the lead going into the second half.
All right, we have one change from Michigan. Just taking a look at the 5 that are on the floor right now. John Horford starts the second half, as opposed to Jordan Morgan, who started the game for the Wolverines. For Minnesota, they've got the same starting 5 on the floor that began the game. Matthew has the ball. Oceanics, a couple of Hollinses, and Eliason, 5 on the floor for the Gophers. Eliason open inside, and Andre Hollins finds him. Lead is 4 for the Gophers.
You come out at halftime, you have a play you want to run. Minnesota slowed the offense down, executed a well-executed pick-and-roll play. That time, Derek Walton got caught playing peekaboo on the baseline and not getting off of his man. That was supposed to be his rotation.
Stauskas, 7 points in the first half. Before the shot, he's fouled.
Well, you take a look right here now. The pick and roll is going to come up. Okay, now you're going to get over the top if you're Hollins. On the back line, keep your eye on Derek Walton. As he rolls to the basket, this is Derek's rotation. He had to stay at home with Matthew. He didn't have to. He was 2 passes away. Again, you're on the string defensively. He has to come inside and either get the pass or try to attempt to take a charge.
Neither side has anyone in foul trouble. That was the second foul on Eliason. For Michigan, Jordan Morgan has 2 fouls. Nice little play. Walton finds Karis LeVert on the reverse. Wolverines get a pair back.
And Michigan has been trying to get that backdoor cut all day. If you're the defender, you have to send Karis LeVert up towards the top of the key and not allow him to get behind you to get the backdoor play.
Andre Hollins, top of the key, can't hit it. Walton using that body against Matthew, not able to score. And the Gophers running. They've got numbers, 4 on 2. Pass knocked away by Robinson.
Yeah, excellent transition defense that time by Glenn Robinson, the 3rd. He could have gave up on the play, but he continued to follow all the way through and was able to get a deflection, taking away an easy 2 for Minnesota.
You know, something to keep an eye on. Minnesota not used to playing competitive games. They've won 11 games already in the non-conference portion of the season. And that one of those wins was by single digits. Matthew got inside, blocked away by Robinson. Great defensive play by Robinson, who's slow to get up. Robinson actually never got to the free throw line. And he's very gimpy right now. And Glenn Robinson just pointed to the Wolverine bench. He needs to come out. But the ball is still live.
Yeah, and he's limping right now. It looked like his right leg, right foot. He's keeping it off the ground right now. Maybe it was when he came down, maybe he landed wrong or awkwardly.
He's trying to guard Oceanix. Wraparound pass, the beauty. Andre Hollins finds Eliason. And I think Michigan's going to have to call a timeout. Are they going to try and basically play 5-on-4?
Well, he's in the corner right now. Glenn Robinson, the third is. And let's see.
Ball poked away. Eliason picks up the loose ball.
Over penetration that time by Karis LeVert.
And now Bo Borowski, veteran official, notices that Robinson is in pain and uses an official timeout. No team had an advantage. And so the official timeout allows Robinson to waddle off the floor.
Well, let's take a look. You know, excellent defensive rotation right here. And let's see if he comes down. And it's tough to see, but it looks like his foot, leg may have got entangled on his way down, which caused the minor injury here.
Austin Hollins, shot fake, gets inside, hangs, can't score, rebounded by Walton. Zach Irvin, the Wolverine, in the game, replacing Robinson. Last year, Michigan 12-6 in conference play. LeVert blocked away by Eliason. Again, numbers for the Gophers. Andre Hollins fouled. Seems like whenever Minnesota does something well, it starts on defense.
Well, it does. And Elliot Eliason again, making his presence felt inside, blocking without fouling, and then an excellent 3-on-1 fast break. You give it and you get it back for Minnesota. See, here's the thing. When you play good defense, you want to be able to capitalize off of it. That means that you have to take care of the ball. You have to have good ball handling skills, because if not, it negates what an outstanding defensive play you just made.
And long history of Minnesota basketball. No one has ever shot free throws better than Andre Hollins. And he just clanked the pair.
And you jinxed it. Of course. You jinxed it. What? You did.
You did. I'm stating a fact.
Well, you jinxed it.
Irvin working against Oceanix, gets into Stauskas. Spike Albrecht into the game as a jumper rattle out. DJ Matthew, seemingly unafraid. This is a 5'9" guy who attacks inside. Again, he's going to try it. Wraparound pass to beauty! And Eliason scores again!
Befitting that Eliason was the recipient of that, because in the last defensive play, excellent job sliding his feet on the pick and roll, not allowing Stauskas to get in the lane. He deserved that layup.
Lead is 6 for Minnesota. Irvin, open look. Andre Hollins was bumped. Foul called on Walton. Second foul on Derek Walton. Momentum firmly on the side of the Golden Gophers. DeAndre Matthews showing you what he's all about. Smallest man on the floor finds the biggest. Matthew inside to Eliason. Gophers up 6. Yeah, there's something special about conference play. We've been waiting a couple of months to finally get into the meat and potatoes of the Big Ten slate.
I couldn't wait. I mean, I love non-conference and maybe some of the matchups, but this is where you kind of earn your name as a coach and as a player. The competition heats up. You know each other extremely well from a coaching perspective, and the players have been in this league for a while. The fans are excited about it.
Andre Hollins lost the handle, able to pick it back up. This is a Minnesota team that has scored 26 of their 36 points in the paint.
Well, you talk about where you miss Mitch McGarry. Okay? Minnesota has 10 offensive rebounds for 11 points. Now, will Mitch take all that away? Probably not, but maybe you don't have 10 offensive rebounds.
Matthew out of control, able to squeeze it over to Oceanix. Shot clock down to 3. Kind of a wasted possession for the Gophers, but they get it back. Matthew misses the 3. But he's able to save it by throwing it off of Stauskas.
The energy level and the multiple efforts by this Minnesota team is different. And that's not taking anything away from Tubby in the last crew here coaching-wise. But it's a difference in how they're playing. Multiple efforts allow Minnesota now to maybe offset the fact that you don't have a dominant big man inside.
What a tough shot for Andre Hollins.
You're gonna have, but from a volume shooter like that, you're going to have some tough shots sometime, but Coach Petito understands.
That's a big shot for Walton. They needed that one. Freshman showing you what he's all about. His first field goal is a three-pointer to bring the Wolverines within 3.
And I like the fact that he didn't hesitate. He got his feet and shoulders set, shooting pocket ready to go, stepped up and knocked down a big shot for Michigan.
Eliason called for the offensive foul. He was trying to take advantage of the matchup. He had Walton on him, and he picks up his 3rd foul.
A little aggressive that time, and Walt anticipated the spin move right there. Took a shoulder to the chin. A little acting too, but at the same time, he sold the charge.
If Eliason did that to another guy, 6'11", that's no harm, no foul.
That's right. And the disadvantage is that the fact that it was a good move by Eliason, but he's bigger and stronger. So when you make that kind of contact, it looks a little bit more dramatic because of Derek Walton's stature.
Now the officials are going to look right now, and I believe they're just taking a look at the contact between Eliason and Walton.
Well, it's above the chin, the contact happened, but I don't think it was an elbow more so than a shoulder. But the referees are taking a look, I think, at the
we haven't been officially told. There's a chance that the officials could be looking at the most recent three-pointer made by Irvin, just to see for sure if he was behind the line or not. So both teams using this opportunity to get a couple of words in as they readjust here in the second half. And we are told that the officials are indeed looking at the contact between Eliason and Walton.
Well, let's take a look. So that's shoulder. Now, can we see the elbow on the opposite side? From this angle here, it looks as though it's the shoulder area that gets the contact into the chin of Walton. And let's see from this side if the elbow comes up at all. I just think it's a charge. Yeah, the elbow was below and underneath, actually, Walton's arm. In the body area, it was more so the contact from the shoulder.
Yeah, if Eliason makes that move against someone similar in size, both his shoulder and his elbow hit the midsection of the player guarding him. But because Walton, who is just 6'1", is guarding him, that changes the dynamic totally.
Oh, it does.
Now, this is one of the few things that has gone wrong for Elliot Eliason. when Tubby Smith was here, he said, you know what? Give him time. He's going to be a player. And now Richard Pitino reaping the fruits of all that work put in by Eliason over the years. This is a guy who's a difference maker.
Well, you have to understand your value to the team. Okay, you're not going to be a 20-point scorer, but your value comes in, one, you block shot, you're a tough defender inside, you clog up the lane. Okay, offensively, if you can get offensive rebounds. Okay, you set solid screens for your guards to get over. You do all the little things that add value when you're on the court. And that's what he's been able to, and that's what we've seen. Think about this in the first half. It's not just the block shots. He's utilized his vertical movement and his lateral movement to get deflections. Now that starts to break for Minnesota, but he's also done an excellent job, I think, at times of really playing the pick and roll defense.
Good job by Boborowski of communicating what the decision was. Boborowski telling us an offensive foul on Eliason, but that was it.
In my opinion, the correct call.
Joey King back on the floor along with Maurice Walker. They had that front wall for the Gophers. And running into that front wall is Stauskas, and he's fouled.
And one thing Minnesota has to do a better job of is this: pushing the Michigan players to the ball. Right now, they're overextending, allowing the backdoor. See, right there. See, you want to play behind Stauskas and trail. As soon as you get out in front, that's when Michigan is going to hit you with the back door. You saw with Karis LeVert, and you saw with Glenn Robinson III, and you just saw it right there with Stauskas.
Inbounds play works to perfection. Walton able to draw the foul on Matthew.
And why did it work? Well, it was excellent offense by Michigan. Okay, you see a will play inside, but look at the position of Hollins on the ball. That's where you have to jump to the inside to take that inside pass away, and then you jump back to contest an outside pass.
Walton's in the act of shooting, so he'll shoot 2 free throws. Freshman from Detroit, 72% from the line.
This young man can be good. I mean, just trying to figure out the transition from high school to college in regards to point guard is difficult. But the coaching staff really believes that once he gets it, once he sees it, that the value that he brings to this team as a playmaker is invaluable.
King, that's his game. Sophomore from Eagan, Minnesota, rips the triple.
There, KYP. Matthew knew coming off of the screen where King was at, and he knew he's a pop-back kind of guy. Got it to him in rhythm, able to step up and knock it down.
Stauskas can't answer. Oh, Matthew able to save it. Risking life and limb. It's Gopher ball. Austin Hollins. Rebounded by King, poked away. Wolverines down 4. Extra pass finds Irvin. And again, the freshman hits the triple.
And that play was all set up because Horford ran right down the middle of the court. Now you take defenders with you. You have a mismatch inside. You swing it. The trailer will be left open, as you saw Zach Irvin able to knock it in.
Irvin's taken 5 shots. They've all been 3-pointers. And he's made 3 of them. And we've got a whistle and a foul called inside on Joey King. Jackets come off for Richard Pitino. 3rd foul on the sophomore. So Minnesota's lead being threatened, only up by a point. Jordan Morgan back into the game for the Wolverines. We haven't seen Glenn Robinson in a while. Left early in the second half with an apparent injury. He had to go back on the floor.
No, and he's not even on. He's on the bench right now, so that's a good sign. He's not in the back of the locker room.
Jordan Morgan. And another lead change. It's now 6 lead changes. Wolverines up by a point.
And if Jordan Morgan can give you that kind of activity offensively, It takes a lot of pressure off your perimeter players to kind of make every play.
Morgan's played in a lot of games. Today starting his 98th game with the Wolverines. And a foul on Morgan about 25 feet away from the basket. It's his third. Timeout on the floor. Michigan has regained the lead, but it's only a 1-point lead. Welcome back, everyone. Williams Arena in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 11:33 remaining in this one. The visitors from Michigan up by a point. Saturday night on BTN, the top-ranked Gophers hitting the ice. Mariucci Classic. They'll take on the winner of the second-ranked Ferris State Bulldogs and the RPI game. That's Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time. It's a possibility we could see the number 1 and the number 2 ranked teams in the country. Well, here's tonight's Reese's perfect combination. Saw it a moment ago. Good passing. Matthew finding King.
And the two newbies right now making their debut in Big Ten Conference play. But again, I talked about knowing KYP, know your personnel. That time, King did an excellent job of spacing the floor, giving Matthew a passing angle, a line of sight that he could receive the pass and knock down the three.
Andre Hollins and the Gophers learning how to play with 3 new significant Gophers, but none of the 3 are freshmen or in their first go-around at the Division I level. You got Matthew, the transfer from Morehead State, Malik Smith, the transfer from Florida International, and Joey King, the transfer from Drake.
And Eric, what makes it a lot easier is the fact that they're all learning a new offense. It's not like this is a system that was in place and the Hollins and the guys, did you see the foul right there, were familiar with it. And so they're all on the same kind of learning curve.
Karis LeVert called for that foul, trying to stop Joey King on his foray to the hoop. Second foul on LeVert. Jordan Morgan picked up his 3rd foul a moment ago. He's staying in the game. Good pass inside, and an offensive foul called on Matthew. Got in too deep, and he's whistled for his 2nd foul.
And Jordan Morgan has been known to take a lot of charges in the past. At that time, anticipating where the ball, not staying married to your offensive player, giving up his body, setting his feet, more importantly, for Matthew was able to get up in the air to take the charge.
Michigan still playing without Glenn Robinson. Albrecht, Stauskas, Irvin, Morgan, and LeVert, the 5 on the floor.
And you hope that injury is not too serious. You already lost McGarry indefinitely. You don't want to have Glenn Robinson III also sitting on the bench in a T-shirt.
LeVert throws that out of bounds, trying to get it to Irvin. Michigan's next game will be at home on Sunday against Northwestern. The game will be on BTN as well. King wants it against LeVert. In the paint, little jump hook of beauty.
It was a beauty, and Karis LeVert has to do a better job of getting that left leg up. The way he played position, you just gave King the middle off the 2 dribbles. Now you don't have help. Excellent recognition by King that time.
Morgan unable to hit the shot, but he's fouled.
Post position is done early, Eric. That's when you can kind of seal your guy inside and kind of get the opportunities. Right now, post work is done. Karis LeVert. Now you don't take away the middle. And once a player, I think I can still score once I get to that point. If you get to the middle of the basket in the end. By pushing the ball up quickly, Michigan was able to attack the Minnesota defense when it was not set.
Austin Hollins back in for Minnesota. Travis Walton back in for Michigan. We talked a lot in the first half about Maurice Walker changing his body for Minnesota. Jordan Morgan's really changed his body in his 4 years with the program.
It's funny, you talked to Coach Patino, you said, was there a mandate for Maurice Walker? I said, yeah. If you didn't lose weight, you weren't playing. Okay? And he said, but it wasn't just that. It was a combination of that. but also a change in system and philosophy, and that he's older, and he understands it a little bit more. So the commitment was done by himself as well.
Turnover by Minnesota, and a trap in the corner. LeVert keeps possession for Michigan. Michigan will have the ball in a 41-41 tie when we come back to Williams Arena. To go. With Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. I think it's official. Zach Irvin, our Motel 6 sixth man of the game. Still got 9:42 left to play, but he's come off the bench, and he's leading Michigan in scoring with those 3 3-pointers and 9 points.
It's good when you can get production, in particular from a young player who's still trying to find his game, a lot like Derek Walton. But he has confidence. He's won. He's played on a high level. And you see what he can bring to the table. His game is still expanding as he continues to get more comfortable within this Michigan system.
Wolverines have needed all 9 of those points. Glenn Robinson hadn't played in about 7 minutes of game time, and it doesn't look like he's anywhere close to coming back in. Got his shooting shirt on, sitting on the bench. Rebound for Eliason.
Horford kind of shot-putted that shot up there. Well, you know, for Irvin, he has to play a lot of minutes here because even for a freshman, I like his poise, his demeanor, not forcing shots, which is a good sign.
Foul inside on Eliason, his 4th. And that's huge because Eliason already a double-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds, but he'll have to go to the bench, you'd think. Maybe not. Richard Pitino rolling the dice, going to keep Eliason on the floor.
And if I was Michigan right now, I would put Eliason in the pick-and-roll situation to try to pick up his 5th foul. I wouldn't bail him out, but I would go right at him to see if you can pick up a foul.
Stauskas gets inside and an offensive foul. Stauskas trying to draw the foul on Eliason. Smart play, but he's guilty of the offensive foul.
Well, let's take a look right here and see if he's moving that shoulder. Again, because you're a small guard, benefit of the doubt. And here, King doing an excellent job of getting his feet outside the arc, getting set in position before Stauskas took flight.
Now Eliason out of the game. Maurice Walker replaces him. Walker said, watching pick. And it allows Andre Hollins to get inside and get fouled.
And the key to any pick and roll, if you're a point guard, you want to get open. It's better to be a half a second late than half a second early. By allowing your big to get set, now you get a piece of the action. Now you can run the pick and roll and get an advantage on the big man. But too many times we see the impatience of a lot of guards where they go too quickly, and now as a result, the post player picks up a foul because it's not his fault. He wasn't set. Guard just went too quick.
Oh, good.
Jinxed him again.
I didn't say anything
but earlier. It's coming back.
This is a team in Minnesota that leads the conference in free throwing. Normally 76% at the line. They're just 4 for 9. Lead is 1 for Minnesota. Walton, LeVert, Horford, Irvin, and Stauskas, the 5 on the floor for the Wolverines. Irvin, again, his 4th three-pointer.
Read and replace. The Horford re-screen dive directly to the basket. You attract a little bit tension. You allow Karis LeVert to get at the free throw line. So now when the read and replace comes about, the defense is focused on a scoring LeVert. Opens it up for Irvin.
Good catch by Walker. Extra pass, Malik Smith. That's his game. That's why they brought him here to Minneapolis. Malik Smith regains the lead for Minnesota. Irvin again. 15 for the freshman. How about that for the freshman 15?
Not afraid of a big moment. And that's what you want to see. But again, he played big-time basketball in Fishers, Indiana. So he understands it. Now, it's not the Big Ten, but at the same time, he's been there.
Austin Hollins misfires. On the road, Michigan trying to steal one with Glenn Robinson on the bench for the bulk of the second half. Landed awkwardly trying to block a shot. Hadn't played since the 17-minute mark of the second half. Horford working against Walker. Takes his time getting inside. Over to Irvin.
Heat check.
Off the side of the bench.
Heat check. That was a heat check right there. Now that's where a little pump fake and a little patience would have boded well for him. But excellent pass.
Malik Smith finds Mo Walker inside to tie it at 47.
And that's what happens when you shoot a deep corner three. You're below the free throw line. Now you don't have balance in the backcourt, able to push it up to get an advantage inside.
Stauskas bumped. One of the best free throw shooters in the country will be at the line when we come back. Second foul on Maurice Walker. Now both teams offensively starting to get hot. First Malik Smith, but then emphatically, how about Zach Irvin? Alongside Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. We are tied at 47. 6:15 left to play in this one.
And I know Minnesota Gopher fans are like, how in the heck is Irvin getting open? Well, it's simple. Patience and offense. You have a playmaker here with Derek Walton. As we roll the play, you want to keep your eye where Zach Irvin is going to be able to get open here. As you dribble, drive, penetrate, you get back outside. Now, because you get deep penetration, the defense has to help. You collapse the defense, and Irvin, being a smart player, spaces the floor enough in the line of sight to receive the pass, able to knock down a shot.
2 free throws here for Nick Stauskas. Stauskas now with 8 points. Also has 4 assists and a couple of steals. Lead is 2 for Michigan. We have had 8 ties and 10 lead changes.
Man, think about this. Both teams average in a non-conference season over 77 points. Minnesota 77, Michigan 79. Look at the score, 47-49. The difference in conference play. So which team down the stretch of the game can make the critical plays offensively and defensively?
Big man Mo Walker throws it down. Game a lot like a guy who's got 9 kids at Christmas. 9 ties. Shot clock down to 10. Wraparound pass. Horford from the elbow.
It's going to come down to which team can prevent the other team of getting in the lane off the dribble. Because both teams do an excellent job of getting in there and then make the correct play.
Malik Smith, you hear the bench for Michigan yelling shooter every time he touches it. Tough entry pass stolen away by Horford. And it's thrown right away by Michigan.
Michigan not able to capitalize off the steal.
Walker bottled up by Horford, has to throw it away.
And that's called walling up. That time Horford used his chest and his arm straight in the air, and Maurice Walker was off balance, so it boded well for Horford to get Maurice underneath the basket.
That play was set up by Nick Stauskas, kept his dribble alive, and a beautiful feed to Horford. And a whistle before the shot. We've got a foul called on the Wolverines. Let's take a look at tonight's Motorists Insurance Group drive to the hoop. This was just a moment ago.
Yeah. What's the key there? Common denominator. Able to get inside the paint, and when you do that, defense collapses. You have a 2-on-1 situation in the background. All you have to do, if you're a guard, like Smith, is make the play.
Big situation now for Hollins at the line. He'll shoot a 1-and-1. Gophers just 5 for 10 free throws tonight.
And see, for a team like Minnesota, who's built to kind of get out and run, to shoot threes, in the Big Ten, you're going to have to figure out how to win those grinded out kind of games. Get those tough-to-get baskets, okay? And you have guard play, but again, they're doing an excellent job, to me, getting into the lane. And then, if you don't have a layup or shot, you're able to kick it out for maybe a spot up three.
12 points for Andre Hollins. He's going to get a blow. Otto Oceanix replaces him. Oceanix, King, Austin Hollins, Matthew, and Smith, the 5 on the floor for Minnesota.
I've been very impressed by how Derek Walton has handled the pressure consistently throughout the game.
Walton gets inside. Inside to Horford. Smaller man on him. Misses the layup. And a great reach-in rebound by Matthew. He wants to fly. And a foul called on Walton. He didn't think so. Third foul on the freshman. We've got Oceanix at the line when we come back. It's a barn burner here for the conference opener at Williams Arena. We've still got 3:44 left in this one. Absolutely nothing's been decided. Minnesota trailing the Wolverines by 2.
And it's one of those games where either team can't pull away. As soon as you make a little 4 to 6 point run, the other team comes back and kind of returns the favor. So as you look at, as we have 3:44 left, one, foul trouble. Second, who's going to knock down free throws? And third, more importantly, who can get the defensive stops necessary? Multiple 1, 2, 3 stops. Because that's how you're going to really separate yourself from your opponent, is by negating what they have offensively, and you, as the opposing team, able to get back down and do something on offensive end.
Just a reminder, Minnesota has not won a close game this year. They are 11-2 in non-conference play, but every single one of those 11 wins for the Gophers was by double figures.
Well, why not? Why not now? You're home. Well, you're at home. You got a chance. You're playing well. So this could be one of those games that you kind of figure it out, how to win a close game, in particular at home.
The final from Evanston. Wisconsin goes on the road and wins against Drew Crawford and the Northwestern Wildcats. A convincing win on the road for Bull Ryan's Badgers. Otto Oceanix was fouled. He misses his first free throw. Gophers are 7 for 13 at the line. This is the best shooting free throw team in the conference through non-conference play.
Again, the pressure, it wears you down mentally, physically. Maybe you don't turn the ball over, but you have to think about it. You waste a little time off the shot clock, and it disrupts the offense a little bit. But Michigan, now you settle in. You still have 20-plus seconds to run your set.
Backdoor cut, Stauskas with authority.
I said it earlier. Why? You have to get behind and on the shoulder of the offense of Hollins. Force him, of Stauskas. Force him back up the lane. You're not going to get the steal.
Gophers down 3. Austin Hollins.
Gotta get it.
Rebounded by the freshman. Under 3 minutes to play. Wolverines trying to steal one on the road.
And let's see what type of shot Michigan gets in this possession. Let's see if it's a jump shot or is it something going to the basket.
Wolverines playing without Glenn Robinson. Out for the majority of the second half. Stauskas left alone. Matthew is fouled. Levert tried to stand in and draw the charge, but Matthew will go to the free throw line.
Well, like I said, force the play back up towards you. Sometimes you can be too aggressive defensively, okay? And you can't give up those easy baskets. And Michigan knows that Minnesota's going to try to press and deny on the wings. So, one, better pressure on the passer, but two, be smart and know who you're playing. and know that Stauskas loves to go back door. And that's a counter to pressure defense for Michigan.
Junior point guard DeAndre Matthew hits a pair. Lead is just 1 for Michigan. Possession arrow keeps it with Michigan, in case you're wondering.
And how about it? Because of the injury to Glenn Robinson III, Zach Irvin getting quality minutes late in the game, along with his freshman counterpart, Walton.
And a timeout called by John Beilein. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. And he wants to make sure this is a quality offensive possession. He'll give Richard Pitino an opportunity to drop a defense.
Time and score, situational basketball is what coaches talk about all the time. Hey, we talked about Zach Irvin. I mean, the ability of a young freshman to come in and play well in an intense environment, and you haven't seen him crack. He's allowed the offense to come to him. He's not trying to force situations. He's spacing the floor extremely well. And when you're a shooter, one thing you don't want to do is crowd space. You want to be able to be in an open area that allows you to be free enough to get your shot off when you have an opportunity.
Zach Irvin, tonight's Quicken Loans, amazing performance. 5 3-pointers. All 8 shots he's taken have been from behind the arc. 15 points, 3 rebounds. Just to put this in perspective, with Irvin, the freshman, stepping up and Walton playing well down the end of the game. And this time last year, conference opener for Michigan, they could have had Mitch McGary on the floor. They could have had Trey Burke on the floor. They could have had Tim Hardaway Jr. on the floor. They could have had Glenn Robinson on the floor. None of those guys available right now.
And you know how the game of basketball, sports in general, can change in a heartbeat because of injuries or different things. Again, you lost 2 players because of the draft. So you rebuild with young talent.
Oh, wow. Stauskas finds Horford for 2 more.
To a veteran team. That was a well-executed play out of the timeout. Okay, because his team has been there and done that. They got the play they wanted to get in the hands of Stauskas, who doesn't get enough credit for his creativity. And guess what? They ran the play to perfection, and where did Stauskas get? On the will play inside. Look, no one stopped the ball. Austin Hollins didn't step over to stop Stauskas to get into the lane because he had to stay home with Karis LeVert, and now you get inside to make a play. See, when you have threats on the perimeter and you have multiple playmakers, you can't take everything away. Okay, but you would rather in that situation, if you're Minnesota and Austin Hollins, just step in there and force the ball to go to Karis to shoot a jump shot other than Stauskas getting to the basket.
Nick Stauskas has 11 points. But more importantly, he has set a new career high in assists. Stauskas with 7 assists, helping the cause, and the Wolverines up by 3. Possession arrow favors them. Both teams with plenty of timeouts at their disposal with 1:49 left to play. Andre Holland working against LeVert. Matthew, his pass too strong over the head of Oceanis.
Well, you see the difference? On offense for Michigan, they stay spread. That time, Oceanis a little bit more comfortable getting closer. Instead of maintaining his spacing, he dove for the basket. If he would have stayed where he was at, he would have caught it and had a nice little open shot, which Matthew was anticipating Oceanis would do.
Good play by the freshman Derek Walton to force that foul on Matthew, and he'll go to the free throw line. You can tell, Derek Walton, well coached.
Well coached, well seasoned, and coming into his own. The patience is there, the understanding, not being in a rush, which a lot of young point guards will be, in particular late in the game. Because, one, you're trying to do something for your team. A lot of times you can get too protective and make a mistake.
Big difference in today's game is the way that John Beilein's Wolverines have shot free throws. They have made 11 of 13 as opposed to Minnesota, just 10 for 16. Coming up next, women's basketball, Northwestern and Nebraska. Cornhuskers ranked 18th in the country. Large largest lead of the night for the Wolverines. They're up 5. Three-point sniper Malik Smith into the game. Under a minute to play now.
Excellent help defense that time on the baseline by Michigan.
Matthew misses inside, got his own rebound and throws it away.
3 consecutive stops by the defense from Michigan. I talked about it. Okay, that's what veteran teams and good teams do. They're able to get stops, milk the clock a little bit, and on offense, get the kind of shots that they want to get. And this is a learning process for this Minnesota team that has new faces, a new style of play. You have to learn how to win under these environments, okay? And Michigan, going through what they went through last year, Eric, has already been there, done that, so to speak.
30-second timeout called by Minnesota. Nick Stauskas will be at the free throw line after this timeout. Now the Michigan Wolverines, this is how they begin their conference slate. They've got Northwestern at home on Sunday. And then on the road to take on Nebraska, they've got Penn State at home, followed by Wisconsin and Iowa. They're going to play that slate without Mitch McGary out indefinitely. You have to wonder, will they be playing it without Glenn Robinson? Robinson leaving at the 17-minute mark of our second half, and he has not returned.
Well, you hope it's not serious, but when you have valuable assets like a Zach Irvin that can come in and give you quality minutes, when you have a player like Nick Stauskas who is not looking for a shot, but looking to create shots for his teammate, and then taking shots when available, a part of maturity. Last year, maybe he would have forced situations knowing that, his guy, Glenn, was out the game. Difference in what a year makes in maturity.
Stauskas keeps this game interesting. Jordan Morgan back in for defensive reasons.
Small lineup right now for Minnesota. A lot of guards who want to get to the basket. Let's see if a quick pick and roll is going to take place up top with Hollins. Fade to the corner for Smith.
That's a good-looking play. Malik Smith, that's the first field goal in the last 5 minutes of game time for the Gophers. And it's a one-possession game once again. And a lot of coaches love this play. You want to take a hard dribble to the baseline, and you force the defense to pay attention while Smith on the opposite side is going to relocate to the corner. A little pick here allows now an open shooter, your guy, to knock it down. Again, a well-executed and set-up play by Minnesota, able to get the shot they want by not taking a lot of time off the shot clock as well, or the game clock. I like this situation here sometimes, Eric, when a team is down 3, Michigan is going to anticipate a quick foul. A lot of times what I like to do is try to get the ball in the corner, allow it to come in the corner, and trap right away and not foul. Because you may be able to get a 5-second call because the player is anticipating that they're going to foul. So what do? They hold the ball. 3 or 4 seconds, 5 seconds won't hurt you as much right now with 27 seconds to try to employ that, because you can get the ball back with plenty of time to get another basket. Michigan reinserts another ball handler, Spike Albrecht, into the game. Don Beeline so far away from the action, trying to implore Horford to run down the other end of the floor. Finally gets the message across. Stauskas hoping to get fouled. And he doesn't get fouled. It's Gopher ball.
Well, like I said, you anticipate that you're going to get fouled. So what you do, you're not as strong with your ball handling. And that time, yes, it was some contact, but at this point of the game, you have to anticipate that it's going to be contact, and you have to be strong with the basketball. Keep your eye right here. Now, by putting your ball on the ground right there, you have no space to work with. you're underneath the basket. If you want to throw a pass, you're kind of blocked out. So Stauskas that time didn't put himself in a good position to break the press. Okay, you absorb the pressure here. Let it clear out a little bit. Be patient. Now you want to attack up the court, but you can't. Excellent defense that time by Minnesota. See, that little dribble, that first dribble he took, it didn't do anything for him. It didn't take him anywhere. If nothing else, it allowed the defense to come to him to set up the trap.
Well, Wolverine fans not really thrilled with the decision to give Minnesota the ball, but that's something that can be looked at. The officials have gone to the monitor, and they're trying to determine, was that ball indeed off of Stauskas?
And I love this rule because a lot of games have been decided on plays like this when referees could not review the play.
Illinois in last year's NCAA tournament.
Right. So
we've already seen good use of the monitor by the three-man officiating crew tonight. And now on what could be the most important possession of the game, they're going to make sure they get this right. This is what comes out of the NCAA rule book. Last 2 minutes of the second half and in overtime. You can look at the monitor to see if there's a shot clock violation. You could also, this is the most important one we're dealing with right now. The bottom line, you can determine which team caused the ball to go out of bounds.
Now, it looks like if you watch right in here, does it go off of a Minnesota player? And that's what it looks like from that angle.
Once again, the original call was it went off of Stauskas.
Right.
So they're looking to see if they can disprove that.
And it has to be undisputable evidence, kind of like football, that that is the case.
It wouldn't be very popular if they changed this call.
Well, not popular and being right are two different things, you know, and you have to come up with the correct call here if you're the officials. Yep. Off of Minnesota. Yep. Bam.
Well, a great job of officiating.
No, it is.
We were just told that they are going to change that call.
Yeah.
Looked at the monitor and decided, you know what? It went off of Matthew, not Stauskas. So the Wolverines are going to keep possession.
Well, it's a correct call. And you want to get it right. Okay, and that's just what this rule allows you to do. Now, listen to the crowd. You know what, boo? But it's the correct call. Because if this was on the opposite end of the court, they would want the same, you know, the home fans would want the same kind of ability to get the call right. Not popular, but correct.
He made that sign awfully quick. Well, there's still hope for the Gophers. They need to get the ball back either by stealing it away or forcing Michigan to go to the free throw line and coming up empty. 21 seconds remaining.
One issue is, too, you have good free throw shooters, and it's important right here. I think now Albrecht is stuck to a position. He can't move. Okay? You can't move right now, so Michigan players have to get open.
And the freshman Walton comes to the ball, and he's fouled.
I like that. He made it a fact that he wanted to get open. He wanted to get the basketball. He wanted to get fouled to step up and make the big free throws.
Walton came into this one shooting 72% at the free throw line. He's a perfect 4 for 4 tonight. Coming up next, women's basketball, Northwestern and Nebraska.
Eric, you've been around basketball enough to know you played it. A lot of guys don't want to be in that pressure cook at the end of the game. They may say it, they may talk about it, but late in game situations, you can, the guys that really want to weed themselves out, okay? They're supposed to make it look good on that.
Minnesota has burned their last time out. So the Gophers are going to have to race down the floor and think on the fly after this free throw.
Well, make or miss, you want to get a quick push, attack the basket, knowing that Michigan doesn't want to give up a 3 or a 5. Oh, 2 big misses.
Chance to tie with a 3. Andre Hollins misses inside. Just going for what he thought was an automatic 2. The Wolverines defended it well. And it's going to be a foul, sending the Wolverines back to the line.
Well, it was a smart play. You didn't need the 3. You had plenty of time on the game clock to get an easy 2 or get a 2 and get out and score. You see the correct push, and you see Matthew giving it up early. Now you attack. Now, the tougher part here is that Michigan did a really good job of walling up. Terrence LeVert Zach Irvin right there using his body and his size not to give up an easy shot.
Now the upperclassman. Horford hits the free throw. Lead is 4. Gophers have to hurry. Smith, long jumper. He's fouled. He'll have 3 free throws.
Not over.
And now this is interesting. If you make the first 2, do you try and miss the 3rd and get a tap-in?
Well, over-aggressive right now on the dribble handoff by Michigan. Contest without fouling. That time Stauskas a little bit too much momentum moving forward. Got up underneath Smith, causing the foul.
Well, this is going to be a big decision for Richard Pitino, but he's not going to be able to do it with a timeout.
You got to make it.
All depends on the free throws.
Right.
If Malik Smith makes another free throw, the play may be to miss the free throw and play for a rebound.
Well, with 5 seconds left, Michigan can enter the ball in bounds. You get a quick foul. Not a lot of times. You can get the ball to court within 5 seconds, 4.5.
So you would shoot the free throw to make it?
I would shoot it because right now, 5 seconds. What's the chances of that? What's the chance of anything happening late in the game? You know, I don't know if you have the size inside to get this tip shot.
He shot it to make it, and he did.
But get a quick foul, because you never know on the opposite end of the court, Michigan may not make their free throw. Okay, but now you don't have to communicate. Now you got 4.5 seconds left. You can get the ball, advance down the court, and get a kind of shot, depending on what happens here with Michigan, whether that's a 2 or 3. Extend the game. Put the pressure on Michigan to get to the free throw line and knock in 2.
Nick Stauskas at the line. 2-shot situation.
And Michigan has to be aware Minnesota has no timeout. So make or miss, the ball's coming immediately up the court. So you have to get back and you have to communicate. See Coach Beilein bringing Zach Irvin back in the game for size. Able to switch.
John Beilein feeling it's important enough that he kind of bails out Minnesota. Gophers didn't have any time to talk anything over, but John Beilein feeling it's important enough to get his guys set for the final 4.5.
Exactly right, because he knows that if they make the free throw, it's going to be a 3-point shot situation. So he's probably talking to his guys about, 1, let's get back. We're going to switch everything. Okay, we're going to switch, and we're going to contest without foul. If we want to give up a 2, let's give up a 2. But we don't want to get caught on a dribble handoff situation or screen down situation where we're not communicating and know what we want to do on defense.
Maybe John Beilein doesn't call this timeout last year when he had veterans like Burke and Hardaway in the mix. And McGarry, who played a lot of basketball, but right now he's dealing with a really young team. Early in the season, he wants to make sure everyone knows what to do.
And that's a good call on that, because when you have a veteran team that is accustomed to being maybe in these situations, you can trust them a little bit more. Right now, you have 2 freshmen on the court, and the key to any kind of defensive play late in the game is that you communicate early. You communicate early and not late. That allows you now to play the kind of defense you need to walk out of here with the win.
Both teams in the double bonus. So any foul results in 2 free throws. Final free throw for Stauskas, trying to give the Wolverines a 3-point lead. Minnesota needs a 3.
A little pressure right now by Michigan, not allowing the ball just to come up the court.
Matthew takes it himself and clanks it off the back of the iron. It's a win for Michigan. Gophers had a chance. Shot to the top of the key, and it's just too strong. And it's a win for the Wolverines on the road. I don't think the Gophers are going to complain about this chance. It was a contested shot, but it was straight on, and it almost went in. So Richard Pitino will have to wait another day to get his first conference win. The Michigan Wolverines moved to 9-4 on the year, but more importantly, 1-0 in Big Ten play. Sure hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations to Michigan for the win. This has been a presentation to the Big Ten Network. For my partner, Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. Coming up next, we've got women's basketball, Northwestern and Nebraska.